We're talking NDS Easy Flow in the crawl space, the pros and the cons, and we're doing it right now. Okay, so the NDS Easy Flow, this is a gravel-free style French drain. And this stuff we've installed in a lot of crawl spaces. There's some real pros and cons to it. We're going to go ahead and tackle those. So let's jump into this video. Okay, so here we are with a diagram of a basement. And you also have a crawl spaces that have concrete floors. But imagine that there's no slab here. This is all the same thing that happens in a dirt crawl space as well. So water comes in from above and then it collects around the footer. You have basically what's called the bowl effect. You have this virgin soil that's not compacted properly because it doesn't have eons of time like nature compacted it. So when they break ground for your house and then build the house and put your foundation down, it has what's maybe mechanically compacted, but not what Mother Nature has done. So a lot of water collects in this area as the rain falls. So once it builds up enough, it will come underneath this footer here, and it raises right back up into your crawl space, and it collects around the perimeter of the entire crawl space. So when you're installing a sub pump, or not a sub pump, but a drainage system or a French drain, you want to make sure that your crawl space French drain is an open French drain. You want the water that's rising up through hydrostatic pressure to go into the pipe and then be carried away to the sub pump, and then the sub pump to mechanically discharge it from the exterior of the building envelope. Now the other things you have to take into effect is around all your pipes and form ties, and as you can see, the cracks and everything. So you have all these other water intrusion pathways that come into your crawl space. So if you put over a soil like a clay type of soil over top of your French drain, especially 6 inches, which is what NDS says that you should have it buried, the footer drain tile, their Easy Flow, and that soil doesn't percolate good, it doesn't allow the water to drain through it fast, then this water that comes up from the footer is going to flood out the entire crawl space. It just doesn't have time to get into the system. So you want an open French drain. You want the water to come right to the top through the aggregate, right into the pipe, right into the sub pump, and then right outside immediately. So I'm going to show you some different stuff here. So let's take a look at this. All right, so when we're in a crawl space, we dig a nice wide trench deep next to the footer. So when the water comes underneath of it, goes into that pipe, and then it gets carried away to wherever the sub pump's located and then discharged. So you can see here is the sub pump basin we installed in this one, and we're going to have this trench and the pipe and everything go right in here. Now if water was to come through these foundation vents, you want it to run down the wall and then right into the top of the French drain. You don't want a bunch of soil over top of it, so it hits the soil, it doesn't percolate, and it ends up just traveling across the entire crawl space, and it misses the French drain. So here is the geotextile fabric and everything starting to get laid in, right? So there's a lot of work that still has to be done here, but you'll see this will get buried, right, with stone aggregate all the way across it. So again, once this we have stone all the way in there, we'll turn around and wrap this with this DOT approved soil separator drain fabric and contain the entire system. Then any water that comes through the wall as well will get into that system really fast. So here is all the aggregate going into the stone, And again, they're starting to wrap this corner, it looks like. Again, nice big clean stone so the system doesn't get clogged. We have the Baughman 8-inch or 8-slot perforated pipe in there, so you got maximum water flow. Again, look at all the stone. Look at the big stone that we have in there that we're putting into this system. Again, water comes through here. We want it not to hit the soil. You want it to go right in the top and immediately to the sub pump and exit it back outside. Same thing going on here. And this is us stitching it once we got everything contained. So that's a stitch, and this will continue all the way around. We got stone aggregate all the way around the sub pump that you'll see in another picture here. But this is a contained drain system. This sand soil in this crawl space is not going to migrate into the system, and the stone's not going to migrate out of the system into the soil. One of the other things as a do-it-yourselfer you're going to want to think about is your Crawlspace Access well. A lot of people put covers on top of them, and the water comes right through the access well and floods out their crawl space, and they can't figure out why. They think it's because they don't have a good seal or lid on top of their crawl space access, when it's the actual hydrostatic pressure rising from the ground up, and then it goes over and into the crawl space. So you want to have a drainage pipe in there, and that's what the guys have done here, is put in a drain pipe. So you can see after we cut that out and got that installed in this one, you can't see it now, but we'll actually have this all covered with this stone. You won't even be able to see the drain, and have nice big stone all the way around it when we put in our custom access well. That way aesthetically it looks real nice too, and allows the water to flow in there, and then it's tied right into our French drain system. And again, your access will be your access well will give you no problems from there on out. Here's a custom access well, and we're going to fill all that up with some more stone, and we're going to change out this door so it's not affected, right? So you want to make sure that you always have a access well drain tied into your drainage system. All right, here is the stone aggregate that we told you is all around our sub pump. We got to finish some stuff here, but this is just for demonstration purposes. This is a clear lid. When they peel that off, it'll be all nice and clean, everything you can see in there. Now here's what I want to take you to. This is a NDS Easy Flow. This was installed the same way around the perimeter, but because the aggregate here is lighter than the water, it's totally buoyant. And what has happened is, after the sub pump stopped working, this was just allowed to be buoyant, and it turned around and just pushed right up and popped out. And this is all water that's in here right now. So here it is again. It's pushed up the NDS Easy Flow right up out of the ground. Here's all the water collecting in the footers. You can see there's no water. This is not a muddy area or anything. It's literally the water's coming from outside underneath the footer, like I explained, and then it rises back up. And it's supposed to go into the pipe, but if the pipe is more buoyant than the water, it won't go in there if it's not pinned down. So I'm not saying that NDS doesn't have its place and it can't be used in a crawl space. It's just not going to really save you the labor, I think, that they're claiming, because you have to dig this down, put 6 inches of dirt on it to hold it down. But if it's clay soil or anything that doesn't percolate good, then all the water that comes from above the drain system is just going to flood out your crawl space still. So the only other thing you can really do is put a stone aggregate all the way on top of the NDS Easy Flow. At that point, you might as well just be putting in the stone to begin with. It's not saving you any time. Here's another picture. This is the water collecting here. It just popped this thing right up. So you have to have something that's holding this down. I'm not saying that it won't work and take care of your water or anything, but if you don't have this pinned down, weighted down, it will absolutely fail you. It will just float right up. Here's all the water in the footer, Here you can see the dirt that's on top of it from it being pushed up and everything. It's a little bit muddier here, but you want to open French drain in your crawl space every single time. You want to get the subsurface water, and you want to get the surface water. I mean, here it is again. Just there's the dirt on top as it just pushed right on up. You just never want that to happen. Look at all the water that's in the block here. So you want to use an actual contained drain system, and we'll go back to that again so you see what that looks like. You want a DOT approved soil separator fabric. You want to put that 8 slot perforated pipe. Heck, you can put in the 4, but you really want that Baughman 8 slot tile in there, or the new high octane that the French Drain Man's got coming out. If you haven't seen the French Drain Man's channel, please check him out. He does awesome work. He is the master of dewatering yards. He's the absolute man. Check him out. But this is the 8 slot in here. Again, lay that pipe in there, cover that thing with stone, and then turn around. Oops, go this way. After you fill that trench, make sure that you pin it all down and you contain that drainage system. That's all I got. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope that this was a very good educational piece for all the DIY guys. And if you like this, don't like this, have questions, please hit us up in the comments below. We want to answer all your questions that we can about the NDS Easy Flow, our experiences with it, good and bad. Again, I want to stress that it's a good system if it's done the right way. Is it the best system? In my opinion, no. I think that you should be using a contained drain system. That's just my absolute God's honest opinion of that. Thank you so much for watching. Couldn't do anything without all you guys. Please subscribe. And that's all I got for today. Take care.